Talking to Clare Teal, and we're sitting at the rather spectacular Sands venue on Blackpool Promenade. Now, what do you think to this place, Clare? You've sung here before. They've done quite a lot of work since you were here last time. What do you think to the place now?
Well, frankly, I think they could have made more of an effort. It's absolutely stunning, isn't it? It's beautiful. We were just saying in the sound check, actually, that it's unique. Completely unique, you know. There's nowhere like this place, and it feels great to play. You know, you feel special coming to play here. You want to go to work, you know.
Brilliant. Now you've got a little bit of good news. You've just won an award, haven't you? Tell us a little bit about that.
I actually won 2 awards this week. I've had an incredible time. That the last Friday, just a week ago, I was back home in Yorkshire, and it was the Yorkshire Awards, and I won the Arts and Entertainment Personality of the Year for the second time, so that was quite cool. But on Wednesday, I was at the Savoy Hotel in London to receive a gold badge from BASCA, the British Academy of Songwriters, Composers and Authors, alongside Joan Armatrading and Mick Hucknall and Dennis Waterman and all sorts of people. And it was kind of to recognise my tiny contribution to the music industry that I love so much. So I was absolutely overwhelmed, and I can't believe I've got it.
Now, for the benefit of people that maybe haven't followed your work too closely up till now, give us a little introduction into Clare Teal and what sort of music you do.
Sure. Well, I've been singing professionally for 10 years, and I guess I got sort of a late start, really, although I've always been interested in big band music and jazz. And kind of, popular song of the 30s, 40s and 50s, really. And ever since I can remember, this music has really spoken to me, and I've just connected with it. And it wasn't a difficult decision to make it pretty much my life, you know. And I sing with lots of different bands. I have my own band, who we're here with tonight. But I also work a lot with big bands, the BBC Big Band, and with orchestras like the Halley Orchestra or the RTE Orchestra, the BBC Concert Orchestra, and more recently John Wilson's fantastic orchestra. And so I can be in the Sands one week, and a few weeks ago I was at the Royal Albert Hall, as part of the proms with the John Wilson Orchestra. So it's a rich and varied life. I never know, you know, where I'm going to be. Last week we were in Skegness, or you just never know.
Now, you're most closely associated with jazz, but jazz can mean different things to different people, can't it?
Jazz is a tiny word for a vast sound, and people have a lot of preconceived ideas about what it might be. And it can be any and all or none of what they think it might be. And I guess it's part of our mission to really to work with the songs and let the songs do the talking. And I try not to kind of get too in the way of that, try and keep things quite simple for a jazz singer, I guess.
Now, we're going to see a Clare Teal show later on this evening. For people who are in the future going to come and see Clare Teal live, what can they look forward to seeing?
Well, hopefully they're going to have a laugh as well as hearing some great music. The band are made up of the most incredible musicians. I love working with these guys. And they have all been influenced by many, many different styles of music. We're all about the same age, in our kind of mid-30s. And so you kind of, I don't know, you bring all sorts of things to the songs that we're singing. So with this last project, the Great British Songbook, which resulted in Hey Ho, we're drawing from a over 120-year period, but trying to make it all work together, hang together. And so obviously there's been, classical influences. If you look at something like Sally Gardens, or there'll be some things that we actually wrote ourselves at the beginning of the year, and it all kind of has to weave in with things like, Ray Noble's, what's it called? Love is the Sweetest Thing, or something like A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square, or Try Little Tenderness, and then you have things from the kind of 60s like It's Not Unusual, or that kind of thing. So it's creating a palette of sound and colours to use with all the songs,
Well, for people that can't be here this evening, we're going to play a track off the Hey Ho CD now. We're not obviously. Mm-hmm. If we're going to pick one track off that, what would we pick, and what's special about it?
I guess one of the tracks that means the most to me is the opening track, If Love Were All, by Noel Coward, who is, I kind of bookended the album with the two godfathers for me, which, Noel Coward at the beginning and Ivor Novello at the end. And without these two, I don't know what the Great British songwriter scene would have become, because they were hugely important, and it didn't seem right not to include them. But I love what we've done with If Love Were All. Grant Windsor, who is the producer and the pianist on the record, he instead of doing it in 4, which is what it was written in, he did it in 3, and opened it out to this very kind of it's almost like a frontier, like it reminds me of some kind of Appalachian music, and it just lets a lot more space into it somehow. So the lyric becomes a bit more poignant, which gives it space to breathe. And I'm, like I said, very pleased with how that came out.
Brilliant. Okay, so we'll edit that in and we'll play that. Have you got a question?
No, mine is just a comment about what you said. When you sing, you do sound as though you make it fun, and you did mention that earlier.
I think fun is the reason you do this job. I mean, to be honest, 80% of your working life is spent on the M6 or the M1, or on a plane, or in a bus, or something. And I think if you weren't, if the music wasn't so important, it would be sometimes a tricky job to do. But there's something about musicians, certainly jazz musicians, a lot of the guys I work with, I don't know if it's to do with the timing or what it is, but their comedic skills are fantastic, and so a lot of the laughing is done, unfortunately, before we actually get to the stage. But there is a general kind of humour that runs through the show, and a kind of, because you love each other, you know each other, and I want every audience to know who these guys are, so that by the, they are part of the family for the evening. This is us. This is what we do, and I want everyone to kind of have a grasp of each individual character. Because that they can then see how the music comes through them, but at the same time they can see their little quirks and, habits.
Brilliant. Okay. Now, if anyone wants to keep up with what you're doing, new releases, tour dates, that sort of thing, is there a website they can look at?
Always, yes. It's www.clareteal.co.uk. And when I'm not singing, I do a bit of radio stuff for Radio 2. So I have a show on Sunday nights just after 10. On Sunday evening, which is a show where we play all old big band records, and I love it. And I think it's the only show in the BBC where you do actually see LPs playing and 78s and all mediums of music. I work with some fantastic people, and we have an absolute hoot when we're recording the shows. On Monday nights at 9:30, I present Big Band Special, which is modern big band music. So, working with the BBC Big Band, we've had guests like, the late and much missed Amy Winehouse, Michael Bublé, Jamie Cullum, all sorts of people come and sing with the big band. And it's basically pointing, showing how big band music is moving forward.
Easy listening on wireless radio. Easy listening on wireless radio.